Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Open Air Outdoors. Today we're indoors, and that is because before we hit the outdoors, we have to get ready in the way of lures. Now, many of you have noticed I use these spinners. These spinners, often called go-getters. I'm sure there are other names. I make my own. So today's video is exactly about that. I'm going to show you how I make my spinners. So let me get the camera set up properly, and I'm going to show you and I'm going to explain to you how and why I make these. Let's get started. So as you can see, I have quite an array of blingy stuff all over the table. And before we get started, let's talk about why I even do this. I mean, I can go to the bait and tackle shop and buy them already made, ready to go. Buy it, go out and use it. And as you can see, I do have some store-bought ones. I never use them. So first thing, number one reason why I make my own is, generally speaking, when you buy them pre-made, whether it be with monofilament or some or steel wire actually, the hooks are generally not of a good quality. And when you're out in the water and you put on a brand new rig, and 5 minutes later you get hung up on a rock, and you get your lure out, you reel in, you check it, make sure your bait is still attached, and you realize your hook is dull. It's completely dull. That's what you get when you get lesser quality hooks. So that's the number one reason why I make my own. So that I can make them with whatever hooks I choose to make them with. Which brings up, today I will be making them with a different hook, a hook I've never used before. I use Mustad hooks. I really like the Mustad. Very, very good quality hooks in my opinion. But there's a new hook out from Mustad, and I'm going to be making my rigs with it. And that's what it looks like. It's a coated hook. So if you're watching this and you already have experience with these hooks, let me know what your thoughts are on them. That's so another reason why I like to make them is obviously I can make them, customize them to the way I want them. So we have a lot of different types of blades for spoons. Here's one design. And we have another one here, right? It goes on and on and on. All kinds, willow leaf, all kinds of designs, right? So that's why, make them the way I want them. And you know what? It's a lot of fun. I just enjoy doing it, right? So every once in a while, I have to restock and resupply all my go-getters. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to make some, and I'm going to get you to join me as we make some, and I'm going to pick out a bunch of spoons, and I'll show you how I make them. All right, let me reposition the camera. I'm going to do one quickly in front of the camera, then I'll do another one more slowly or with maybe a different camera angle so you can see exactly what it is I'm doing here. Okay, let's talk about what we need to put this together. You're going to need some beads, assortment of beads. You're going to need some spoons. You're going to need some hooks, obviously. You're going to need some line. We'll talk a little bit about that. And you're going to need something called a shackle. Let me show you an individual shackle. They're very small. We'll see if the camera will pick it up okay. right? The shackle is very important. We'll talk about that. So those are the equipment that you need to create one. Tool-wise, you're going to need a pair of clippers, simply, or a knife. Now I do have another tool. It's not essential to have this tool, but I have one. It facilitates the whole process, and that's this right here. That is called a hookies. And what it does, if you open it up like that, and you lay your fishing hook, you lay it in there, and you snap the hookies around it. That way there you can work on tying your knots and creating your lure without having the hook pricking yourself with the hook. So you'll see as I go through this. Okay, let's get the hook set up in the hookies. Simply drop the hook in the tool, close the lid. Now I can take the ring, I can slip the ring around my finger. Now it's just dangling, and that gives me the opportunity to do this with my tool. Okay, so let's grab the piece of line. I'm cutting a piece of, this is fluorocarbon. That's what I'm using today, 20-pound test fluorocarbon. I recommend fluorocarbon or monofilament. And I would say, in my opinion, 16-pound test or bigger. Now, pre-made rigs that you can buy at the store sometimes will come with a metal instead of fluorocarbon or mono. It'll be an actual wire, and I don't know why, but I never had good success with them. I just find it affects the action of the lure. So that's why I don't make these with wire ever. So the knot that I'm going to show you, the fisherman's knot, I got it threaded through the eye. I'm going to roll it so I have 6 twists. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm going to take the end here of my line. I'm going to thread it through the loop that's in the line, not the eye of the hook, but the loop that's on the end right at the eye. Once that's through, then I'm going to bring it back around and push it through the large loop that you just created. I'm going to grab that and pull on it. Now I have to pull everything tight, but before I do that, you put some spit on that. And it's important that you do that because that's a lubricant. And then you dress the knot. Just pull it all tight. Sometimes you have to help it along and push it towards the eye. Just like that. Okay. Let's string our beads. Just like that. Now for a spoon, and we take the shackle, you thread the shackle into the eye of the spoon. And then we thread our fishing line through the shackle. Now we finish it up with spoons on the other side of with beads on the other side of the spoon. Just like that. Now I'm looking for an overall length, finished length, about 12 inches, I suppose. So the other knot, simply fold it over, like so. Do an overhand knot, but roll it twice. Just like that. Put your finger through it, give it a good little tug. That's it. Now all the excess, take your clippers, not too close, but you want to clip it close. Get rid of that. Check the other end, same thing at the hook end. I got a long tag there. Clean that up a little bit. Okay, let's open up the hookies and see what our final product is. Look at that. Isn't that a thing of beauty? What fish would not want to bite on that? Okay, so let's go over a few details and then we'll make another one. I'll reposition the other camera so that you're seeing it from my vantage point. But before, let's look at a few things here. Number one, the type of knot that I use, this fisherman's knot. I'm sure there's a specific name for this specific knot, right? I don't know what it is. I just know it. I learned it. It's a fisherman's knot. But that knot is particularly good with large diameter line. So if there's a knot that you prefer, that you're familiar with, that you like, by all means use what you like. There's nothing that says this knot has to be used. The hook is 100% of your liking, whatever size hook. Try to match it to the species of fish that you are going after. This particular rig, the species of fish, I'll touch on that right now. One of the reasons why I really like this rig is because it is a multi-species rig. I can throw this in the water. This will work on everything from brook trout to pickerel. That is such a nice thing about this rig. It's multi-species. You can attach live bait to this, or you can use plastics. If you prefer to use worms, there's obviously knots where you can trailer hook it, as many as you want. Generally 2 or 3 for a worm harness. You usually go up to 3 hooks, if that's what you prefer. The spoon. Now, I'm going to talk about this right there. See how the bottom of the spoon is at the bottom of the last bead. I always rig it up that way. I'd never rig it up so that the spoon is covering the hook. It changes the action if the spoon is too close to the hook. And I've actually seen it many times where if the spoon is riding too low on the hook and I'm using leeches, the leech will actually latch onto the blade, preventing it from spinning. So you just lost the action of your lure to attract your fish to create a strike. So for those reasons, depending on the size of beads, it's always minimum 3 beads for me or more. So let's make another one. I'm going to move the camera and we'll put another one together and see if I can put some more thoughts to share with you as the process goes along. Okay, so the hook is in the hookies. I got a length of line. Always be generous when you cut your length of line. You could always cut it shorter, trim it off. Can't cut it longer. Right, I'm holding the one end in between my fingers. Sometimes that makes it a little bit easier when it's time to thread it through. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A bit tricky here. I got the camera in front of me, so it's a bit tricky. So let's go through the loop. Not through the eye, but through the loop. Okay. Now you've created that loop. Now we're going to go through that loop that you've created and grab it. Pull it. Okay. That. Now let's put some spit on that. The spit is to lubricate it. And if you don't lubricate it and you pull on these lines to dress your knot, what can and will happen is you will weaken the line because the friction, the heat from the friction will actually weaken the line. Right? All right. Just like that. Okay, let's put some beads on here. Okay, so I have a total of 5 beads. I'm just going to do a comparison with the spoon to see where the spoon is going to sit. Right? If I put it like that, it's pretty low, which is what I don't want. I want the spoon to be more up here. Let's add 2 more beads to that. Okay. Now for the shackle. The shackle is very important. You have to use a shackle. If you take the line and just thread it through like that, that spoon will spin round and around and it will cut your line. That's why you need a shackle. Absolutely have to have a shackle. Now the shackle, thread it through, very simple. Voila. All right. Let's go with a green spoon or a green bead. Finish that off. We'll go with 3 or 4 of these guys. Make it look nice and pretty. Just like that. Now to dress my knot, get a proper length here. Fold it over. Right. Gonna do an overhand knot. Right. Very typical. But I'll spin it around one more time. Stick my finger in the loop. Give it a little tug. Make it nice and tight. Clean up the tag ends. Thing of beauty. What do you say we go fishing? Everyone, thanks for hanging out here today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I've enjoyed making it for you guys. And I can't wait to get back out on the water. I'll be sure to bring you along for the ride when that happens. Everyone, take care out there. Thanks for hanging out. See you on the next one.